Dude, sorry about that. I was just kind of chilling and listening to music. I forgot we were live.
It's all good. I was like, oh, he's going through the picks already. Okay.
Yeah, no, this just yeah, let's get this out of here real quick. And Mr. Pate, Mr. Torque, what is up, man? How you been? How's your week?
Fantastic week. Hope everybody had a great week. Hope you had a great week. Yeah, man, beautiful day out here in Austin, Texas. Just, man, the vibes are immaculate.
I'm a little blurry-eyed because I went with my buddy Josh to Atlanta Friday. He had a show, and was stayed up late. Had to get up early and drive Josh to the airport at like 6 in the morning, and then drive back to Charlotte. I'm dragging a little bit, but I did my research. And after two, I would say subpar weeks for me, there's nowhere to go but up. There's nowhere to go but up.
I like it.
All right, let's get into it because we've been running too long. Let's just start. Here we go. The week 4 picks. So let's recap some picks we had last week. You gave the pick of the week, which I had missed, which was Mac Hollins. Mac Hollins was the type of guy that could win you the week. I mean, he was that good at his price with how little people owned him. Great pick. Juju was a good pick. He wasn't a smash, but he definitely held his value. Tyler Conklin, we've been recommending him here. Probably recommending him again today. He's a target machine. Drake London had a decent day, scored a touchdown. Dameon Pierce, 20 carries, getting the ball more and more. He scored. Josh Allen is probably going to hit every single week. Joe Burrow played well. Cordarrelle had a really good game. Mark Andrews was another smash play we recommended. And A.J. Brown had a good week. So those are all some hits from last week. And then, of course, the misses. Who did we miss on last week? Well, we missed on Justin effing Jefferson. And then Diggs. Diggs didn't do too bad. He had, I think, 6 or 7 catches or 4. I don't know. He came out of the game because he was hot. And then we missed on Justin effing Jefferson. And I really missed on Lamar. I said sit all Ravens last week because they play Buffalo. Or no, that's this week. I said sit all Ravens, and I said don't go back to Lamar. He can't repeat the performance 2 weeks in a row. He did. And then I missed on this dude, Justin effing Jefferson, he was in a smash spot. He was set up for a huge game. He torches the Lions, and he had 2 catches. Carson Wentz was a big miss. I think he threw a touchdown pass late, but that was a shutout most of the game. They just didn't score. Justin effing Jefferson really was bad. I had him in so many lineups, and they're all so bad. And I missed on the rookie from Tennessee, Treylon Banks. He didn't kill you like say if you had Justin Jefferson in your lineup. He killed you because he was really expensive last week, and he just did nothing.
And just right on cue, Justin Jefferson just scored a touchdown and put the Vikings up.
Guy. Of course, he scores on the week you can't play him. I love the guy. I love Justin Jefferson, but man, he really hurt us last week.
Oh,
and I apologize if you loaded him up last week like I did. All right. Last week's picks against the spread. I hit the Titans plus 2.5, and I hit the Rams Cardinals under. Although on stream, remember what happened on stream? I actually said I would take the Titans and the Raiders. I was just running behind and messed up. I missed on the Pats versus Miami. That wasn't versus Miami, but the Pats lost. You missed on the Niners minus 1.5, and Fournette had another terrible game. And then you hit the Packers. I think they won 14-12 with the Bucks.
Yep.
Good pick. So that brings our individual plays. So I'm counting like those as like the plays we give at the start of the stream. We're going to count that last week as a win. So it brings me to 1-1 and you to 1-0, especially with Mac Hollins. My FanDuel lineups again split last week. So FanDuel lineup again was horrible. It's because I rostered this dude, Justin effing Jefferson, and he did nothing. And my DraftKings lineup wasn't much better, but it did cash in cash contests, not in tournaments. So I'm going to give me a win on that. Picks against the spread, I'm now 2-4. You got 1-0. Your DK lineup hit last week, I believe, for a cash game.
Yep.
It's almost hard not to when you had Mac Hollins. And you were 1-2 last week against the spread. I expect as the season goes on, you're going to beat me against the spread. I think you're better in that regard.
We'll see.
Yeah, we'll see. If it was easy, I'd be a millionaire. We all would.
Yeah.
You mind if I call you Patey Torkelson, by the way?
I was actually chuckling at that as soon as I saw it. I hadn't seen that slide, and so it was a surprise to me, and that's awesome. Yeah.
Yeah, and one thing the viewer should know is that you and I do not look at each other's lineups before we do. We don't communicate much before the stream. I get it right before the stream and I put it in. So we're always trying to give different angles and different approaches. We don't want to, share our thoughts too much, and then we have the same views on everything. Also, you notice this week we got the injuries running across the bottom of the screen. Some notables: DeAndre Swift is out, David Montgomery out, Keenan Allen out, Hunter Renfrow out. Hunter Renfrow and Foster Moreau being out, I think is really good for Devontae Adams, but especially Darren Waller. And again, your boy Mac Hollins. Mac Jones is out. Cordarrelle, he's playing. I'm pretty sure he's playing. He's suiting up. They said it was a game time. I love Cordarrelle, but I'm just staying away. It said his knee was hurt. He didn't practice Thursday or Friday. And then here we go with the Tampa Bay receivers. Game time decision for Julio. Russell Gage is questionable. Shepard and Tony for the Giants are out. So could this be the Kenny Galladay show up week? Rondale Moore, I believe, is going to play. I believe Marquise Brown is playing. MVS is questionable. Zay Jones is going to give it a go. I actually like Zay Jones this week. So there you have the injuries. Do you know any updates on any of these injuries, Mr. Payton?
Nothing. Everything looks current as far as I know.
All right, cool. So watch out if you got those guys in your lineup. We'll keep that scroll going. So let's talk about stacks. The 4 highest totals, if you're feeling like stacking a game: Bills Ravens at 51. But I don't recommend ever playing anyone against the Bills. Last week they lost to the Dolphins, and people said, "Wow, what a great game! What a shootout!" Tua had under 200 yards passing. It wasn't like they lit the world on fire on offense. Browns Falcons, yeah, I was a little surprised at this line, but Myles Garrett is out for Cleveland. Jadeveon Clowney is out for Cleveland. So they're high enough to matter, Poker Pro. What are you talking about? So that could be a lot of scoring in that game, but it's also going to be a lot of running. They are high enough when you're looking at them compared to the Packers-Pats game, which is a line of 40.5, or the Giants-Bears game, which is 39.5. An extra touchdown matters. That could be the difference maker. And Buffalo defense has been stellar all year. We got Detroit and then Seattle. Detroit, Seattle at 48. That's one of those games where there's probably going to be a lot of points, but like you have to depend on guys like Geno Smith and Rashad Penny and Jamal Williams and Reynolds. Like it's just these guys that you just don't know if they're going to show up. I love Penny this week. I think you do too, but it's just hard. It's just hard to trust a guy like that. But I'm going to fire him up. Why not? So here are our value plays. Dameon Pierce is getting more and more touches each week. They're playing a Chargers defense without Joey Bosa. And I mean, Bosa is like, an all-world defender. When he goes out, that makes a big, big difference in how they can stop the run. In 3 weeks, Dameon Pierce has had 11 carries, then 15 carries. Last week he had 20. So he's clearly taken over that backfield. And they're playing at home, so what the hell. Rashad Penny, we just talked about it. Travis Homer's out, who would be like the backup running back. And so like they got no one else. They got a rookie back there, I think. And he's going to get a lot of touches. He should. Detroit defense gives up the most points in the NFL to opposing running backs. So he's in a good spot there. And the over 48, I like the point. So I'm going to roll with Penny this week. Brandon Cooks. Now here's a guy who just keeps getting targets. His target count is 12, 10, and 7 through 3 weeks. Here's a guy playing again, no Bosa, so that affects the pass rush. You think Mills should have an extra second or two to throw. And Cooks has the biggest difference in the NFL between expected points, in terms of, his route percentage and his targets and all that, and then how many points he's produced. And so what that tells me is he's got to make up the difference, what I call a regression to the mean a little bit. Hello, April. Nice to see you in here. Eric Poker Pro, that was one game. The over-unders matter, but they're not going to be perfect. That's why gambling's hard. All right, so who's another guy we like? Drake London. We already said it. Clowney and Myles Garrett are out after Myles got in a car accident this week. And that is a huge effect on the Cleveland defense. The strength of our defense is our defensive line. And not only are these two guys out, but there's 2 other backups that are out. And we lost our captain of the defense, their starting linebacker, out for the season last week. So, there might be some points getting scored in this game. I like London. I like Mariota. I think Mariota's a nice, safe play because if nothing else, he's going to get you some rushing yards. And I like TJ Hawkinson this week because it's projected to be somewhat of a shootout that game. Amon St. Brown is out. And so St. Brown gets so many targets. And so you got to think that Hawkinson's going to get a few of those targets picked up on, on his end. Anyone you like on it? I should have added for you here, Tort.
No, you're actually going to see like a few of those guys in my lineup, 3 or 4 of them. So, yeah, I mean, I like what you said about Brandon Cooks. Davis Mills, his home road splits are kind of interesting. And that's actually one of my picks later is Texans +6. But, I mean, he's, I think, career 14 touchdowns and 1 pick at home.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Great call. All right, players I love this week, regardless of price. Josh Allen to Stephon Diggs all day. Question, who gives up the most points to opposing quarterbacks and wide receivers in the NFL?
Ravens.
Yes, it's the Baltimore Ravens. These are not your mom and dad's Baltimore Ravens with the amazing defense anymore. Now it's shootout city. It's Lamar does Lamar things and hopes that he can catch up to the other team because the other team's scoring 30 on him every single week. I love Nick Chubb. Again, it's going to be some ball movement in that Browns game. Atlanta does not stop the run very well, and Chubb is dependable as they come. I like Eckler this week because Keenan Allen's out, and so he should pick up targets. He catches the ball a lot. Texans give up the second most points to opposing running backs, and if David Mills plays well at home, there might be some scoring there, I also feel like Eckler's price has dropped to the point you can take him. He was considered the number 2, maybe overall back and hasn't really produced. So a lot of people are kind of off him. I like trying to get guys when they're kind of down and people are off him. And then Michael Pittman, this is kind of a gut play with Pittman here. He's had 13 and 9 targets in the 2 weeks he's played, but he's the only dependable receiver on that team. The rest of the receivers on that team literally get no separation. They just struggle to get open. Matt Ryan looks for Pittman a lot, and Pittman is good. He just produces. I cut you off there for a second. Were you going to say something?
Oh, just to echo your pick on Eckler. I mean, if Herbert's still banged up, I mean, who are they going to lean on in the game plan? I mean, in theory, be Mr. Eckler.
I will say I have a history with Eckler in that he screws me every time. When I don't play him, he smashes. When I play him, he sucks. So,
here we go.
Personal history there. All right, guys, I hate all the Ravens. Why? Because they're playing the Bills. And I just am not going to pick guys against the Bills this year until they soften up a little on D. I know their whole secondary's out again. They were out last week. And, I mean, if you watched the game, Miami did have trouble moving the ball. I hate Christian McCaffrey because he showed up on the injury report and said it's nothing. And then he didn't practice 2 days this week. He got a thigh injury. So, this guy, his salary is just still too high. He is, I think he might be leading the NFL in touches for running backs. They're giving it to him, but he hasn't looked like his old self. I don't like Jamal Williams on Detroit because I don't think you can trust him. I know Swift is out, and I know Jamal Williams had a great game last week. But a lot of times, the guy you think is going to take over as the every down back remains in his role, and they throw someone else in as the every down back, and then Jamal Williams still might just be the vulture touchdown guy, the third down guy, the you need a couple yards guy. I just don't see him as an every down back, so I just would stay away. I know a lot of people are going to be on him. Also, his FanDuel salary is like $7,500, so they priced him as a starting running back. I would stay away. And I always love Cordarrelle, and I love this Browns-Falcons game. I think it's an intriguing matchup, but he sat out Thursday and Friday they said it was knee and rest. And, he's had a shaky knee, for a few years now. If he was healthy, he would be on my love list. But just because of the not practicing situation, I think it's tough. What's up, buddy? My little daughter Penny is rolling in the background here. All right, let's get to the lineup, shall we? Here's where we're going to make some money.
Mommy said it's lunchtime, and I've been waiting this whole time, and I still haven't gotten my French toast.
Okay, I'm sorry, bud. We're going to try to get Penny some French toast, everybody. She is hungry. All right, so for these lineups, the guarantee is on the bottom. These lineups are guaranteed to win. Or push or lose.
Or push or lose.
My FanDuel lineup, I'm sticking with the Bills. Josh Allen. We talked about why we like Pierce and Penny this week. Stephon Diggs. I think, he's one of the top 2 or 3 receivers in the NFL. Whoop, hang on. We talked about why we like Drake London. He's a target machine. Mariota likes him. Browns have no pass rush today. Brandon Cooks, another target machine. I like TJ Hawkinson because of Amon St. Brown being out. I like Pittman because all he does is produce. And the Raiders D, they're not a good defense, but they're at home playing the Broncos, and the Broncos do not have a good offense. And I honestly am fearful if McDaniels loses this week, he might be out the door. Can't start 0-4. They were supposed to go to the playoffs this year. My DraftKings lineup of the week, stacking up this Browns game. Mariota, Chubb, talked about why I like Eckler, Drake London. DK Metcalf is a guy, he wasn't on any of my lists, but the guy is still getting tons of targets, and it's just, they're developing something with him and Geno Smith. I think he had 12 targets last week. He had a good game. I was kind of down on Seattle like all year, but they've been putting up some points. And again, they're playing Detroit, who sucks. The over is 48, so let's hope to get lucky. I'm taking Jay Reynolds. That's the receiver on Detroit because St. Brown is out. I like Njoku's price on DraftKings at 3,700. And our guy Dortch, I think Rondale Moore might be running out there this week. So this could be a terrible week to start Dortch, but just the amount of routes he runs, the amount of time he's on the field, and he produces. When they throw the ball to him, he catches it. He does a good job. So I'm going to roll with him again. And then on defense, I'm taking that sneaky Jaguars defense, even though they're playing Philly, just because it's so cheap. Their defense has been sneaky good this year. All right, Mr. Pate, who do you like here? This is your DraftKings lineup.
So it's it's similar, very similar to your one. I think it was your FanDuel lineup. I got to roll with Josh Allen. It's going to be a shootout. I just think that passing game is going to be on point because Baltimore's defense, as you talked about, is just porous at best. Mr. Penny, just the aforementioned Detroit Lions giving up the most points to fantasy running backs. Damian Pierce, like him. Mr. Brown, I'm just a big fan of following the targets. He's got like 27 targets the last 2 weeks. And I think
last week.
Yeah, I think Carolina's kind of a dumpster fire right now, and we'll talk about that more in a second.
I live here. They suck.
Yeah. Mr. Drake London, I'm going with him, if not for any other reason, that there was a game in London and he wasn't invited, and I think he's mad about that. So I think he has a good game today.
That's easily the most relevant statistic of the show so far.
I think so. I think it's just my logic.
I didn't dig that up.
Go inside my head, come back out, and tell me I'm wrong. Mr. Mac Hollins, once again, targets. Tyler Conklin, believe it or not, second in tight ends targets, third in receptions. Mr. CeeDee Lamb, once again, all the targets against Washington and the Dallas defense because the Redskins suck. The Commanders. The Commanders.
And the Dallas D, when I was watching them play against the Giants, looked like it could possibly be the best D in the league. They just look. I know the Giants suck, but they looked fantastic.
They dropped about 3 or 4 should have been interceptions, but the real, Dan Quinn has that defense, and Micah Parsons is. The way that he lines up and just everybody's focused on him, and we've got so many other guys that are stepping up when he gets double or triple teamed or whatever the case may be. But that's the great equalizer, right? Is a pass rush.
Yeah, Daniel Jones was running for his life. It was, it was real bad. All right, let's get to the picks against the spread. Who you got?
Cardinals, because the aforementioned Panthers are a dumpster fire. Now, just real quick, Cliff Kingsbury, where are my statistics at? I think as a road dog in his career, he is 14-4-1 against the spread. Last year, he was 6-0 as a road dog. So I'm rolling with him. Mr. Kyler Murray has been kind of talking about running more. And I'm not sure if they were trying to protect him early in the season, but regardless, when he carries the ball 10 or more times, he's 9-1 against the spread, or the Cardinals are. When it's 5 or less, they're 3-17-1. And there are rumors that Matt Rule may or may not have lost that locker room. Baker may not be squabbling with DJ Moore. There's some things going on. I don't know if the chemistry is right. So go Cardinals.
It's so really reminiscent of OBJ and Baker in Cleveland.
Oh God.
Because DJ Moore is great. He's proven that he's a great player.
He is. And maybe it's a Matt Rule thing. I don't know. Either way, and probably the most boring game of the week, the Bears +3 against the Giants.
If that game comes on Red Zone, I'm turning it off.
I fade Daniel Jones at home, and that's my only logic behind that. Texans at home against the Chargers +6. Davis Mills once again 14 touchdowns at home, 1 pick. On the road, not so great, but he's at home today against the Chargers, who a lot of injuries. Joey Bosa's not playing. Keenan Allen's not playing. Herbert, we don't know what he's going to be like. So I like them to cover +6, and good luck, and hopefully, because you're guaranteed to win or lose or push. So
Right. So you might as well,
might as well.
All right, here's what I got. I actually, as much as I like this Browns-Falcons game, I also like the under 49.5. The Browns lead the NFL in rushing. The Falcons, I think, are 5th. What does rushing mean? It means the clock keeps moving. So there could be, a lot of good drives in this game, but it could still stay under, and we could benefit fantasy-wise. So I'm going to take the under on that game. I've been betting the Raiders way too much, but they're at home -2.5. I mean, they have talent. I know Renfro's out and Morrow's out, but the Broncos are just so bad on offense. And then you and I talked about this. It's got to be a sucker bet, right? The Bucs are at home getting a point against the Chiefs. To me, that says you look at that, you're like, hey, wait, how are they at home and they're not favored? The Bucs, Brady, and that defense. So it's like you take them, but that's what they call a sucker bet sometimes. Like Vegas knows something I don't know. So I'm going with the sucker bet because that's what I do, and it's guaranteed to win. So you could win, or you might push or lose. So that's the fun of it, right?
Indeed.
All right. Anything else we got to say before we get out of here?
Tomorrow night, Rams. Another one of those funny lines is the Rams are getting 1.5 on the road against San Francisco. No disrespect if Chewy's still here, but Jimmy G doesn't look like he's the answer, and I think the Rams know it's a division game and know it's go time.
What's up, Chewy? I didn't even see that you commented in here. Hope you're still watching. Hope everything's going good for you, man. That's it. Let's just see how these games go. I'm thinking I'm bouncing back this week, especially on FanDuel. This is probably my worst start to a FanDuel season in maybe 10 years. Nowhere to go but up. All right, y'all. Until next time. Until next week. Maybe we'll have you want to do a show tomorrow maybe for the Monday Nighter and then recap our picks?
I'm down for that.
All right. We'll see y'all tomorrow night then.